yeah.
We good?
Yeah, it's rolling.
Lovely. Summer is in session on the Sunshine Coast. Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 4 of Summer Sessions, a Carlton Media pre-season podcast. My name's Christian Filippo, your host. We don't really have anyone on producing duties today, and that's because we're on the Sunshine Coast. You can probably tell it looks a little bit different to our normal Carlton Media studios, but what we have done is made sure that there's a bit of consistency here. We've got another second-time guest on the show. You can all see who it is. Sam Walsh. It's going to be a big week. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, having me, mate. Nice and comfy here, and got the first session out of the way, and good to be up on the coast.
Well, we'll start with the off-season first, because I'm sure the rest of this chat will be about pre-season camp. How was it?
Firstly, I'd just like to address the hair, mate.
Yeah, it's a bit
career best, I reckon.
It's a bit humid up here in Queensland, so the natural Italian curls have come out, and you did mention you would say that immediately, and it took you 45 seconds to do so.
Yeah, it's good, but yeah, no, it's been a great off season, mate. Very refreshed. Was fortunate enough to do a little bit of travelling, which is one of my big hobbies outside of football. So we had a bit of a lads trip over to Bali after the season, and then went to Europe for a little bit, and then also went up to Darwin. So had a little bit of everything. The highlight was probably getting back to Darwin. Had spent 3 years up there with the family, and their love for footy and stuff up there was pretty contagious, and made me want to launch back into the pre-season. So it's great to be back now and get a bit of a routine, and it's been good fun so far.
You mentioned Europe as well. How was Anfield?
Yeah, it was great. Liverpool man.
Recently,
got into Liverpool, Chelsea here, so top of the table.
Top of the tray, yep.
And I probably had recently got into my soccer a bit more, probably the past 3 or 4 years. It's a lot of big chat at the club now, isn't it? So we do a fantasy with about 20 of us. Create some good banter, but to be able to go to Anfield, which I'd heard a lot about, but it was just on a different level. Like, we have outstanding fans as well, but it's probably just more the chant element, and the whole city, you can tell in Liverpool, is just based around pretty much one team. Well, there's a few Everton supporters, but
a couple.
Yeah, it's not many. But that was great, and Liverpool beat Chelsea 2-1. So
regrettably, yes.
That was pretty good. Bragging rights over you.
Of course. Anyway. For now. Am I right in saying you may have come back as well to 2 new housemates in waiting? Is there some changes afoot?
Yeah, there is. Well, all my housemates.
I was going to get into this.
Yeah, it's probably well documented, but with a fair few different boys from the club. But with Matty Kennedy being the last one of the batch that was living there, he's moved on now. But I did have Dowie and Will Setterfield in this year, but both of them moved on, and I've got Binzi and Lockie Cowan moved it in. So they're Rippin fellas, and spent a lot of time together over their 2 years here at the club. So I think it'll run pretty smoothly. But I might have to get a mute button for Binzi every now and then. I think, but he brings great energy.
Well, they were on the podcast a few weeks ago, and I'm glad you kind of touched on this. I don't want to bring this up. Are they aware of the strike rate with your housemates?
Yeah. Hopefully they're not.
Hopefully they're not.
I'm backing these boys into break the curse. I did have Charlie live with me.
True.
So, and,
he's still here.
That year,
yeah,
so
that was good.
I'll claim that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the boys have settled in nicely. So ready for a big 25 with them lads.
Obviously, you spent so much time with Dowie Setters and Chugger. What was it like living with opposition players for a year in terms of Paddy and Will?
Yeah, it was different for me because I'd lived with guys that had been at the club, so you're on the same schedule and you're doing a lot of things, and particularly in your younger days, like on your day off and that, you just want to be around all the boys. As you probably get a little bit older, you're looking for a little bit more of your own time and recharge your batteries, and that's probably what the different club element gave me from my end. But also, at the end of the day, there's a lot of guys in the AFL footy, like, yeah, close enough mates between teams, and you hear a lot of gossip from all the different clubs. Nothing too much, but you always hear what's going on around the traps, and they were pretty easy to live with, so that always helps.
Well, now you've got Binsey, so you'll make sure you'll know everything in Icon Park, that's for sure.
I reckon I'll know the T2 session in 4 months. He'll be on to that. He's all over it, which is good.
Well, now that Matt Kennedy has gone, and we won't spend this whole time talking about Matt Kennedy, but which teammate are you most likely to burn in a goal celebration now? Because he seems to be the one that when you went to embark on your own kind of thing, you just left him by the wayside.
Yeah, I did. And
he let you know about it as well.
He was giving me the assists most of the time as well. So maybe I might have to get it around him when I kick a goal against Bulldogs. Make that my goal celebration.
Make it up to him.
I don't think he'd be too happy. He gets white line fevered. Caught up with him a couple of times, and he said it's definitely different at Doggies as you'd expect, because he spent 7 years at Carlton. Sadly, he got 99 games, which he's recently had a son, so hopefully, for our sake, he's not a gun.
He's no good.
But we'll see how that pans out.
Well, that's past room rate chat. Are you rooming with anyone this week in Sunshine Coast, or you've got your own room to yourself?
Yeah, I think I'm officially a vet now. I've got the room
wow.
to myself. So
congratulations.
I think the club's looked after us a fair bit. A lot of boys do have the room by themselves this year. A few of the younger guys are together, which, I think it's nice having a time. We also have a fair bit of fun if you're with a few of the lads. So we'll probably you end up going to each other's rooms and playing cards or talking a bit of shit for. I don't know if we're allowed to say that.
I think that's fine. I think that passed the test a few weeks ago, so that's all good.
With the boys, which is good.
Well, we don't normally ask this question. We don't like asking the ones that always get asked, but the answer to this one always used to be the same, but he's now gone. And that answer was Ed Curnow to the question, who would you least want to room with of your teammates? Now that Ed's gone, what is the answer?
Oh, I haven't given this one too much thought. I feel like someone like Pitto would be like a big snorer or something. That's what you'd maybe want to avoid. Who else?
Do you see a world where anyone says you?
I'd like to think not, but
yeah,
I probably am always on the go a bit. So
it might be you.
A few people. I roomed with Ches when we did our last camp, and he was a great roommate to have because he loves his soccer as well. So we just get back, chill out, put the soccer training videos on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you get someone that's in similar interests, it's always pretty chill.
What about the plane right over here, mate? What did you watch? What did you listen to? Or was there nothing on the...
No, actually, we've got back into Breaking Bad.
Right.
I've watched it before, but that was about 7 or 8 years ago now, and I'm going through a lot of my old school shows. I've been watching Entourage at home a bit.
Great show.
I actually...
Which of the four are you?
I'll probably carry on like Johnny Drama.
I was going to say that. That's a good result, yeah.
I want to be Vince, but...
But you're Johnny Drama, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Drama or Turtle, because he likes his shoes and music and stuff. So I can see a bit of myself in all of them.
But you're not E.
But I'm not E. Mind you, he does all right for himself.
You can't be all four. You got to pick one.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If I have to pick one, I'll go with Johnny Drama. If there was a Johnny Drama in the group, I reckon it'd be Cots.
That's probably a fair shout. Yeah.
Yeah. But actually, of the not TV show, but movies, I've had the Camp Rallies staying with me.
Yeah.
And then Binsey moved in for the first time last night, and I hadn't seen Notting Hill.
Right.
Great rom-com. So we watched that last night. So it was a bit of education for the boys on some good flicks, which is good. Yeah.
I did say there was no one on producing duties today, but Claire, our media manager, is in the background and she's delighted with that. So well done.
Yeah, it's an all the time.
Are you a rom-com man?
I'm not usually, but
if there's a good one, there's a good one.
Yeah. Julia Roberts stars in it, so that was good.
Well, I'm not sure how much time you will have to watch rom-coms while on preseason camp. Yeah. Because while it's a connection camp, there is some hard work as well. I guess, what are the main objectives as a leader of the group, or what are the objectives for this camp to finish off 2024?
Yeah, this period it's gone quick. We've been back for about probably 3 and a bit weeks now. Now we've hit the ground running, and I think we're able to do that because we've set up a good base for ourselves with the new high performance and sort of changing of physios and stuff like that. There's always a little tinkers. A lot of stuff stays similar, but I think the boys have adapted to the program well. A lot of guys come back mentally refreshed, but their body probably in the best shape, which is how you want it. And then just being able to get together as a group again and get into more of the footy stuff has been pretty tough in some of the sessions, but I feel like doing the work we have now really set us up for a good January. And like every team this time is going to say that.
Yeah, of course.
The biggest thing for us is building a good base and building habits that are going to stand up throughout the whole year, which we're trying to do.
We've heard pressure and contest so many times under Walshy. How many times will we hear speed and power this preseason?
There's always,
it's already started.
Yeah, there's always a few big words. And I know with us, at the end of the day, we just want to be a team that's consistent every week. Those things will come out in our game. Blokes will bring individual strengths to the table. And then from there, it makes it hard to play against, whether we're composed at some parts of the game or we're using our speed and power in other parts. So the best teams have a good balance, but they also do have a one wood like you're talking about. And the game is based around the speed and power now. And if you can sustain that for 4 quarters and 23 rounds plus hopefully a few more, you seem to get the rewards.
Speaking of pressure and contest, I'm not sure if this is visible on the camera. You are sporting the effects of some of that pressure and contest over the weekend. You got a shiner.
Yeah, I do have a shiner.
And you made sure to sit on that side of the couch
right,
to show it.
Clear off with the makeup to cover it up.
But you said no.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the reason why I'm sporting it proudly because I probably carried on a bit at training. We're doing stoppages and it was a full game drill, but it was a stoppage and Zachy Williams come running in and I've gone for the ball at the same time and haven't seen him and got the back of his head. And I dropped pretty quick. Bossy must have thought I was a soccer player.
Yeah, like out of a simulation.
Rubbing off of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was only a small little bit. Be able to get a few of them.
You're good.
Yeah, all good.
Well, I guess this isn't you. I think this might be your 4th Sunshine Coast training camp. Is this one of the ones where you're looking forward to getting away with the group, but then also realising that there'll be a tough slog over the coming days?
Yeah, they're definitely... I'm one that doesn't... I know, like, in pre-season, some guys sort of build up to dread sessions or think of what we've got. I've sort of nearly learned to just take it as it comes, and I know, like, the sessions that we've done previous are probably going to be... It's similar low to up here, but the heat and humidity definitely takes a different toll out on your body. Being able to train up in Darwin, I felt gave me a bit of that... It's sort of, I don't know, that extra fitness, or you sort of feel like you get that extra jump in your running and stuff because it's harder in the humidity. So I think you get that benefit from up here. It might be wet as well, so maybe
sounds like it.
A bit cleaner. But it's hot and pretty humid this time of year in Melbourne as well. The best thing is out of training, like the energy is always fairly high, and a lot of the drills are based around footy, so you're not really thinking too much about you like that it's hard work. When you get to the end of the session and you've got the running block, that's when the mental toughness has to kick in. And that's been some tough running this time of year. I'm sure our fans are at the open session seeing how hard it was the other day, and particularly mentioning the speed work. I find that the hardest running, that real intensity for short periods, which has been good to go after.
Speaking of carry on, at the end of the running session on Friday, you were out.
You were out. I think we were doing 300s, and by the last rep, I reckon I left my leg somewhere else. I just had nothing in the tank there, which is good, but we've always got to get ready for the next rep. We don't know when it's going to finish, so one or two of the boys picked me up, and I wasn't too proud about dropping to the ground. I'll make sure that doesn't happen again.
Left it all on the line, of course.
I'll go with that.
Yeah. But how important are camps like this? Not just so much for you guys who are established, but the younger guys coming in and getting to know everyone on a much, much deeper level.
Yeah, definitely. And that's probably when you mentioned before about like it's build up that camp's always tough training wise, but the thing you look forward to most is just the bus trips to train and going down to the beach together. Doing stuff after dinner together. They're the things that in Melbourne, when everyone's got different things going in their lives, that you don't get. Particularly, there's a lot more kids than that at the club now, so it used to be a bit different where a lot of us would catch up. Now it's been sort of probably either end. You got the guys that are dads, and then us other guys. And the young lads will love it too, because you spend more time around each other, you get to know each other a bit more, and to finish that off, going into Christmas is always good as well, and have a catch up with everyone on the Wednesday night, which is good.
What have the campos been like to live with, albeit briefly?
Yeah.
Did you have Ben when he was down for the academy a few years ago?
I've actually, the campos have stayed a bit with me. So when they first came, part of the father-son training stuff 2 years ago, they stayed at my house, and then the year later Ben stayed, and then Ben and Lucas again. So they're wicked kids. Yeah, I think they've got that good competitive drive as well between each other and with themselves, and they've definitely shown in training that they've got some real potential, but also hard working qualities, which is good. So love their footy as well, which the only way, if they keep training well, they'll be good players for us, and the fans love watching them.
At what stage was it acceptable for you to refer to people as kids? Because you didn't just said about them.
Oh my god, yeah, I should be even doing that. Yeah, well, it's crazy because like those boys are around nearly my youngest brother's age now.
Of course.
So it does feel like the age group that has came through, like when I was finishing high school, they were just starting. So probably gives me the last.
The kids now, yeah.
I shouldn't. Yeah, I still want to keep in touch with the young lads. So it's been good to have them to hear a bit of the banter and the new terms. And
are you across it?
Some of the stuff. Education on a few things. Yeah, they've been enjoyable with.
Well, what does an injection of youth do for the playing group? Not just the campos. Jagger Smith comes in, Coop's a mid-season pick, and then also guys like Ashton and Billy in their second years. Ollie, Cow, Binzi, and Lemmy in their third. Like, what does that do for the playing group and I guess excitement levels?
Yeah, it's been great. I mentioned probably a week or two ago in a presser that we did, like those guys set a real high standard with their off-season stuff, and you can see that coming out in their training. I'm a big believer you get confidence by doing the work, and they've done the work now over a couple of years, and at this age you just take steps up nearly every session, and so can the older guys as well. But I feel like they've got a strong group that push each other, but also they're positive, and there's that good competitive balance. And yeah, they've been set, as I said, setting the standard.
It's hard not asking you about this kid in particular, because he was our highest pick since you in 2018. How are you finding Jagger?
Yeah, he's a gun. I've really enjoyed watching him train. He's standing out. He's so nimble, but quick-handed foot. Like they're all the makings of a really good player, and got a good head on his shoulders as well. He's come in and just worked hard and wanted to earn the respect. And I think a lot of the guys come into the system, pretty well prepared. And you see some things that he does at training, like a few of the 1-2s, and he'll burst out of the pack and hit a nice kick, and got a real good balance to his game. So excited to see what he's able to do, and like a lot of those young boys, as I said, putting in the hard work, which earns the respect of us pretty quick.
You mentioned some of the stuff he does in training. It hasn't gone unnoticed, and I think our Carlton media cameras might have picked some up as well. You left one on him last week. You picked him up straight afterwards.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Well,
let him know you're there, or
I'm glad the Carlton media did get one the week before. I actually might have hit him a bit late. I mentioned there he's so quick-handed foot, and I'm trying to put pressure on.
Just to let you know, we actually did get it, but we didn't use it. Yeah.
That's good. It was probably a bit late, but I went up to him afterwards, and he's like, I'll just have to get you back on the next one. And I was loving it, because I do get a little bit of the white line fever, but that one, he kicked that goal on when I hit him. So I was like, I was respected that he finished, and he's tough as well. I know probably a bit lighter of a frame, but you can tell he drives through his tackles well, and I think he'd be a great addition to our midfield.
How is the white line fever going? Still there?
It's still there. I've learned to control it a little bit more, hopefully. I think sometimes probably in the past I probably went too far, not too far with it, but there's an element of I want to keep on being able to really enjoy what I'm doing and still be really competitive with what I do, but not that be the detriment to me having a little bit of an outburst. But the best thing about preseason training is a lot of the games that we're doing that are based around scoring and games and against a different opposition and a bit of bragging rights against the other team. And I think that sort of breeds within the group, and when you get to game day, you're ready for that type of competition.
Does that still come through on FIFA as well, or have you moved on from that?
Well, yeah, I'd retired from FIFA for a bit, but now I've started to get back into it. The boys are in the house, and Setters doesn't mind his FIFA. Played a bit of 2K as well.
Yep.
Which has been good. And I think pre-season's a time because you get home and you're just so buggered, and it's a good way to switch off. So I've been probably too tired on the couch to bother showing too much emotion, but I've been on the winning end of the camp rallies. So maybe not in 2K, but in FIFA. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if on FIFA you're a one celebrate. Like, I don't know if you hit the gritty after you score a goal, or if you kind of change up your celebrations. But in AFL, will you ever be someone who just locks in on one celebration, or is it just whatever comes in the head at the moment?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of the soccer players sort of have their trademark. I've probably I don't kick enough goals to
have a trademark.
To have a trademark.
Yeah.
I love changing it up because it probably creates a bit of fun and energy between the boys, and a lot of the guys have picked up on that as well. But I'm always open for one that if it sticks, then I'll go for it.
Well, there is something I've been meaning to ask, and I want this to be a Summer Sessions exclusive, and I don't want anyone to think that we don't ask a tough question on this show. Yeah. I want on the record, will there ever be a day where you hit the cold palmer in an AFL game?
I do. I've been loving the cold palmer. He's I've actually loved watching his personality, the way he goes about it, because you can really tell what makes him so good and why he does that flary stuff, because he really doesn't care. He doesn't care, yeah. But I have mentioned to you, it'd have to be like a late game winner or an unbelievable goal to bring that out. And I do like doing ones that like not many people sort of know about.
Of course.
But that one's a staple. That probably has to get in there.
But, yeah.
I might do the Mo Salah sit up against the fence and have you seen that one?
I have, yes.
That'd have to be a good goal.
Well, you say all this, and I reckon we said it with Ashton maybe on week 1 of this show, that you kind of talk about, if I kick a big goal, I'll do the celebration. I don't think you would, because I think in the moment you'd forget about it because you'd be that amped about kicking a goal. Although you might be the exception to that rule.
Yeah.
Because you'll have it there the whole time.
Yeah, it's funny. I reckon sometimes, like the taste. Well, he said smells like finals, but it was actually meant to be taste
like finals. Yeah.
Those things, I don't know why that weirdly comes to me, but I think it does come from like watching a lot of other sports, and now in AFL there's a lot of celebrations, and the kids do like get a real buzz out of it, which is pretty cool. The one that's probably my trademark early days that I did a fair bit was the check side, but yeah. I haven't kicked the check side
since.
Well, yeah.
So is that a check side specific celebration?
Yeah.
Got to kick more of them then.
Yeah, I know. Are we doing it from straight in front?
Well, how about we change it up?
Yeah.
What chant would you like the Carlton cheer squad to sing if you could go? Yeah. Don't act like you haven't thought of this, because I know you have.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Liverpool ones that I like.
Yeah.
I'll put a few on my Instagram, actually. Like the Lucho one is cool. They do it good as Bobby Firmino one.
Yeah.
It's called like Si
Senor. Yeah.
And I can see Carlton cheer squad getting around like a few of those chants, and I think that's the way we have to go.
Well, Decaning's in the air makes sense.
Yeah.
Charlie's on fire from Fred
from
his eye.
Getting the G, like seeing when Mo Salah kicks like a goal at Anfield, they just like sing his name for
however long.
Yeah. Maybe for us, it's whoever gets a tackle.
Pressure and contest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I know you're massive on this because we've had this chat many times before. Talk about a point of difference. Is the point of difference for this Carlton team just, when the Carlton Raw gets going? Like, because it must feel like it's... I know we hear about the extra man so many times, but it must feel very genuine when the noise starts.
No, it definitely does. And I think all the fans and people who watch this agree. We can have quarters where we kick sort of 7, 8, 9 goals, and you're riding the wave of momentum with the team, but also the crowd. And now the biggest thing for us is what are we doing to bridge the gap, those quarters where we're not getting that momentum. And I think the fans, one thing that I've always loved about our fans, even a couple of years ago when we weren't going great, we played against Gold Coast that day at the G, and we probably showed for the first time in a couple of weeks a quarter of footy that was our brand, and everyone at halftime stood up and started clapping. So I think you do know you've got a lot of people that are behind you, and that's the privilege of playing for a big club is there's going to be high emotions either way. And we just got to keep on worrying about what we can do to be that team that we want to be.
How much would you love, I guess, the team and the club to steer into that and use that as a genuine advantage come game day?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we do it really well. I feel like, I think we had one of the best home game attendances for any club. Even at our open sessions, and all those things, you always do feel supported. And the biggest thing that I get joy out of from the fans is when you're walking down the street, and I said, like, I took my kid to this game and they loved it, and things like that. That's why you play footy. We're lucky we get the chance to do that on the biggest stage.
Well, I want to cast your mind back to 2023. That final series, obviously, those Sydney and Melbourne games were incredible, and everyone who was there experienced it. But I want to talk about the Pro League, because I'm sure it came through on TV, but I'm not sure how much it did unless you were actually at the game. Gabba, 36,000 people there. One half is Brisbane. One half is Carlton.
Yeah.
That was just a genuine away day, and it was just incredible to be part of.
Yeah, that was crazy. It is true. It doesn't probably get talked about because the end result wasn't the win. But that first quarter, like you said, it actually felt like you were at a soccer game with like a bit. And all the fans down our end when the Brisbane guys were warming up, like you just kept on hearing this massive roar. And it was like every time the forwards were taking a set shot and they missed one. And then this is before the game. And I remember when Cots kicked the first goal of that game, I would have been on the wing when he kicked it. And it's probably the quickest 100 metres I've done to get down.
Just to get there.
And like he's like, it was nearly like the Mickey O'Loughlin, but to that ER fan.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah.
I get goosebumps like when you see like the reaction of everyone standing up behind it going crazy. And that's when you're talking about tough sessions, those are the things that if you put the work in now, you'll be able to get those rewards.
Well, the Gabba was also the scene of the end of the 2024 season, regrettably. Wasn't a great night, but I guess what did you learn from 2024? Not just that game, but the season as a whole for the team.
Yeah, it was for us as a team. It was a bit of an up and down season at times, and still showed for a fair bit of it that we can mix it with any team, and also our best footy stands up and will win us any game of football. That comes with that real identity that we talk about, defending first and pressure. And for a lot of the year, we're probably sitting in that top 2 position, which is where you want to be. Like a lot of the teams or nearly every team that's won it past 25 years have been in that top 4. And there's probably multiple factors of why that then didn't eventuate for us. But the thing I loved about the coaching group and Walshy and the players is if there's a problem, then find a solution to it and keep moving forward. And I think we are solution-based with a lot of our things. And throughout that, you learn a lot about yourself as an individual and team of how to get the best come game day. But you realise like it's work during the week that's going to set you up for that. And I think we've got some good lessons out of 2024. Won't expand on here, but we know we need to get to work on it, and hopefully that comes out for us.
That's what you've learned as a team. What about you individually? Because your first 4 years went pretty swimmingly, like at the level, and then still been pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
but it hasn't been as easy over the last 2 seasons with injury and that kind of thing. What have you learnt?
Yeah, it's definitely it's been tougher with the injury part because I was fortunate enough, as you said, throughout all my juniors and the start of my AFL career, didn't have to deal with that, and I didn't even see it as a part of sport when it hasn't happened to you. So I've definitely developed a lot of empathy for guys that have had to deal with a lot of injuries, and I do probably get asked about like injuries in my back a fair bit, but the thing that I've learned throughout all that is a way to prepare my body the best way possible. And I had to learn that in a hard way because I've mentioned a lot of times, but come into the club and you just go bananas for the training session, do all this touch and before training. Now it's still that bit. What am I doing to get the preparation side of it right, the recovery on point, which I think we're taking to another level as a group. And those little things add up, and as frustrating as it was missing the start of 2024, I was able to play the rest of the season, which showed that if I keep on listening and learning ways to look after my body, then I'll be able to get to be able to do to be able to do what I love. Because there's nothing worse than watching games. You feel the boys get a win, you feel like you've missed out on being a part of that, and if they lose, you want to be out there to try and help. And regardless of those 2 years, I've still loved playing footy here, and always got a lot of good mates around you to help you out through whether it's injury or rehab. So I've been still pretty happy with it all. Has the last few years served as a reminder that footy very much is not linear and there are ups and downs along the way? Yeah, absolutely. And that's lesson like we've got as a team and individually as well. And the biggest thing for me is I just want to, whatever I do when I look back on my career, is look back and say I've given it my best shot with what I do with my training and preparation and how I am around the club. And I think if I can keep on doing that for the years to come, then it'll take care of itself. Spoke with Weeders a few weeks ago, and he mentioned, when you come in as the number one pick, as you were as well, that there's some struggles coming because you're coming into a team at the bottom end of the ladder. Right now we're in a different phase, which is great, but is there the realization that there might be a different kind of pressure to come? Yeah, and it's a good point, Weeders mates, because I come in a team that's finished bottom usually. I was lucky enough to walk into a really good culture being set by the leaders of that, or everyone at the club, the leaders, especially in Bolts at that time. And I felt like I was able to come in, hopefully like these young boys are now, and just be myself, train hard, and pretty much get given this a bit of a blueprint. If you work towards this, then you're able to have a good start. And I think the AFL comp is as close and as tough as it's ever been. So there's going to be some ups and downs that you go through, but if you bounce out of those downs and as I mentioned before, sort of find out why you were in that position and move forward, that's how you end up getting an identity as a team. And I think every team goes through parts of that. You look at the stories of a lot of successful teams. As you're saying, it's not linear. So, I'm looking forward to what's to come on that front. By the same token, how important is it to enjoy every part of the journey, which I know it's something that Cripper is absolutely massive on? Yeah, it's so good. As a group, being able to stay present there's no point in us worrying about round one right now. We're up on camp, enjoy that. And then when we're back in January, you sort of starting to get closer to games, but it sort of feels like the intensity of games at the moment. So if you're not prepared for that session, then you won't be giving yourself the best shot. So that, as I mentioned before, that inside the club, I feel like there's a good competitiveness at the moment, and that creates high standards. Mentioned Cripper then. Obviously, we know he's one of your very good mates, but want to talk about, strictly from a football perspective, you came in and he learnt from Murph, and then you were learning from Cripper in a way. What's he done for you over your journey? Yeah, he's been so good. I sort of laugh when we're talking about having the younger boys with me now, because like probably what they do, very inquisitive and was asking a lot of questions. I look back now, I was like, he was probably sick of me. But yeah, I mentioned before there the culture we walked into with those guys and Cripper's driven that. Yeah, I probably didn't realise how young he was as a captain, and he obviously had good help with Doc in that role as well. But it's just walking around our club, like even when you mentioned Weed and a lot of guys, they're just walking examples of if you're able to put in the work, be a good person, and always look to get better, then good things will happen. And the thing that we're all aiming for as a team now is that to be on-field success for all of us. And I do believe Cripper's driving that. And when he's out there setting the tone with his aggression and physicality, it makes a lot of people stand taller, which sign a good captain.
Another one of your close mates is Ches, who we've mentioned already. He spoke to the Carlton website last week by the time this goes out about his trip to Doha. Safe to say 2024 wasn't the easiest of years for Ches, but I guess what kind of regard is he held in amongst the playing group, and how excited are you to see him not only replicate that 2023 form, but hopefully take his game to another level?
Yeah, I love playing with Ches. He's one of those guys, he's so composed out there, but some of his work inside the contest, because he is so composed, people forget how good he is in the contest as well. And ever since he's came to the club, I feel like he's nearly, when we're going well throughout the midfield, he's a bit of that barometer. Like, he gets us going because he can do a mixture of everything. And to see, last year was a tough year for him, and been through a little bit of that myself. So it was, at the start of the year, he was unreal for me, getting through that tough period. And then hopefully I was always sort of there for him throughout that, because even when he came back from Doha and speaking about his trip and just seeing how motivated he was, and as I said, sort of he's been able to now come in, put in the work, and get some real confidence out of his body, which is what you need. Probably some of his problems, he was just waiting for a pre-season to iron out a few of those things, because I think, look back on those tough moments, it's like, probably even with myself, you'll learn a lot of those good lessons that you hope builds you into a strong, sort of resilient athlete till you're 35, 36. So doing the work now set him up for that.
Well, Ches has also embraced the shaved head in recent years. Last time you were on the show, actually, you had the shaved head.
I did, yeah.
Prompting John Cena comparisons. And I do think that You Can't See Me would have been a great celebration, but I guess that's okay. But it does seem like the mullet is coming back at Icon Park. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I'll bring it back.
Yeah, and it's not just you.
Yeah.
Cooper Lawrence is outrageous at the moment.
Cooper's, he's got a very, like, that part of his hair is very, like, straight and flat, but then he's still got your curls at the back. So
I'll bring up the curls, but yeah.
He's either ironing out a bit of that.
He's doing something.
Is it the perm or something?
But you're bringing yours back as well?
Yeah, I'm bringing mine back. You're right. It's probably, it's coming back in trend a little bit. I think we all went to shaved head for Doc. And,
yeah.
As long as it doesn't get in my eyes for pre-season, I don't mind a little bit of length at the back.
I feel like it's going to take on a mind of its own by next March. Cripper,
Yeah.
always says he's bringing it back as well, and then he just kind of...
Yeah, he's more the short hair now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
There's a few others.
There's a few others.
The Hollands boys have just got serious hair.
Long hair. Yeah. Yeah, I'd never get to the headband stage, which...
So you won't be Jordan Boyd?
No. Did he even need a headband?
No, he didn't, but he made sure to wear one anyway.
Yeah.
No, the new haircut suits him, I reckon.
Yeah, he's got the front fringe.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad because we had action on a few weeks and he didn't notice it at all. So that's probably not great for him.
I reckon Boyd has come back from London and he's got...
Yeah. Oasis and Nancy coming back.
Yeah,
he's gone to the UK. This is what happens.
Yeah.
To finish off, and I've got 3 questions left for you. But one of them, I'm blaming Rose not being here on producing duties. I didn't ask you what your go-to karaoke song was at the very top of the show. And I realised about halfway through, and there hasn't been a good time to bring it up. I know what you said last time, so I want to say, 1, if you're consistent with it, or 2, if it has changed, why has it changed?
Last time I said 8 about 9.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you check it before you came on here just to make sure?
I actually didn't.
Okay.
Because my favourite movie is Remember
the Titans. Yeah.
So let's go with that.
Yeah.
New one. What were we singing on that video?
That's what I was going to ask. The boys light up, Walshy.
The boys light up. Yeah. No, I remember it well. a few of us boys actually went to a cafe called Picante's, which is around the corner near my house. And they're a great family-owned cafe and always look after us boys. And we had Dom, who's the owner, it's his 60th birthday party. So a few of the boys
Shout out to Dom,
because they always look after us with a good feed there. And somehow there was a karaoke set up, and we might have got a little bit carried away. But yeah, I haven't changed it. I'd still do it around high enough. But I think that was Cots on the mic that night.
It was.
So.
And to be fair, the only reason I asked that question was to get the boys light up reference in there. So I'm glad that you brought it up yourself.
I seen that coming. That was your one stitch up for me.
I haven't stitched you up many times, but I appreciate the honesty.
No, that's all.
Let's go back to the footy to finish things off. We always ask who's going well and all that kind of thing on the show because we love a pre-season cliche. Who are your top 3 teammates to watch for 2025?
Wow, top 3.
Top 3. I don't want to.
I've talked about the young boys probably.
Yeah. Do you want to? I'm going to put in a veto on Cooper Lord because everyone said him, so we can't say him anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Until the new year, which is one episode left.
Hudson O'Keefe's really impressed me. Put in, you can tell his strength's gone to another level with the big guys. When I don't envy it, it's such a one-on-one position, so there's nowhere to hide. And some of his ground level stuff and driving through tackles in contests, that's really stood out. I feel like Nick Haynes has been really good for the group. He's a pretty quiet guy and goes about his business, but you can already see he's got a bit of a weapon with his offensive run, but dynamic with who he can play with on the defensive end as well. So he's been really good to train with, and like the way that he's gone about it. And then to round it off, probably Jesse Motlop, I reckon.
Yeah.
I got to do a bit of training with him up in Darwin and running really well, and some of his repeat efforts, and it's a tough role playing that high half forward. And you sort of got to learn your craft, particularly over a couple of years. So I can definitely see he was another one that interrupted through injury and stuff.
He was super unlucky, wasn't he? Because he was this time last year. He was also in a similar spot.
And then he had the toe and then the hamstring, and those things to sort of talk about. You can go either way. I think by me, or probably makes you a bit more determined. And with a lot of those guys, it's gone that way. Like the more determined. So, they'll have good years.
Question with that notice. Another top 3. Top 3 in Fantasy Premier League this year. Who do you think is going to finish off?
As in like placings at the club?
Yeah.
Well, I've got to say myself at 1. I've still got the triple captain up the sleeve. So do you probably.
Aren't you 8? No, I don't triple captain. But I'm top.
I'm 7th. You're not top still, are you?
I'm still top. Thank you very much. Yeah. Why do you think I brought it up?
I'll go you second.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
And to round it off, I'm going to go Meatball.
Not Jordan Boyd. Great.
Nah,
appreciate it. Yeah. Shout out to Meatball. second week in a row. We will wrap up. We asked all guests the same question to finish off. Thank you for your time, by the way.
No worries.
There's a beach across the road, which I'm sure you'd be liking to get to, although the weather's not
actually,
all too flush.
It's been raining the whole time up here, so.
We'll let you get back to it. Sam Walsh, why do you play football?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
There are a lot of reasons why I play football. I think the biggest thing I've always just had a real joy for the game. Like ever since I was a kid, grew up around the local footy clubs and just always wanting to go for a kick. And another thing that I mentioned before, just see the joy that it brings other people. And then probably for more the competitive edge of, for whatever reason, just always very competitive with a lot of my things. And footy's number one in that. And there's nothing that can sort of emulate that sort of emotion you get out of winning a game or winning a contest. And that's probably what sort of really G's me up for training and games and that side of it. The last thing is probably we spoke about it. I reckon the whole time, like throughout the pod, you sort of talk about other boys and stuff like that. So it's like the mates that you create throughout your time that's probably the main 3, like the joy, the competitive and the mateship. That's my 3.
Well, I watch football for Cole Palmer celebration, so looking forward to you doing that in 2025. Yeah. There we go. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Walshy.
We'll have to get that to transition into the actual goal.
Cut.
Good man, mate.
Thank you, mate. Loved it.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Mate.